Today I'm going to talk about causes and effect of depression among students. In major depression, having a bad relationship with parents can lead the student to depression that can affect lack of motivation and behavior changing. When thinking of teenagers in today's society, the first thing that comes to mind is irresponsible, being careless and having fun time. When it all comes down to it, if you were to ask a teen if that statement is correct, they will most likely respond with the reality state is a fairy tale. What is adolescent depression, you may ask? It is a very serious mental health problem that can cause a feeling of sadness and loss of interest in activities. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 11.3% of teenagers suffer from chronic depression. Many people confuse this mental illness with regular sadness or maybe even laziness. Depression goes further than sadness to the point of a bad mental health issue that could interfere with the sufferer's ability to function in their everyday life. Depression in students isn't uncommon. It's important to take it seriously. It can impact nearly every year of your life, from studying and classes to your social life. In some cases, depression can also cause suicidal thoughts or thoughts of self-harm. Depression is a huge critical psychological concern worldwide because of high prevalence rate, the chronic nature of the condition and difficult treatment and recovery. It has been positioned as one of the 4 ranked major illnesses due to the utmost burden for individuals, families and society. What I'm going to talk is causes and effect of depression among the students. What could be causing your depression? One of the causes of depression is having a bad relationship with parents. Parent relationship can substantially affect mental health, behavior, and even physical health. Family plays a really important role for students in order to encourage students to do well in their studies and to not affect their mental health that can lead to depression. Numerous studies have shown that social relationship, particularly family relationship, can have both long and short-term effects on one's mental health. High school dropout rates are twice as high with kids from broken homes than kids with families still together. Studies also show that kids with divorced parents have lower test scores than kids with parents who are still married. The pressure of divorce, such as picking side, listening to fight, and negative comment about the other parent, could create psychological problems for the kids. Anxiety, depression, speech defect, and stress are all common occurrences when it comes to divorce. These symptoms distract kids from their schooling, make it more difficult to focus on schoolwork. Families affect children's learning behaviors and academic achievement in important ways, as they are the primary and most significant environment that the students are exposed to. Deficient parents hurt the children more by omission than by commission. Frequently, chronic mental illness contribute to parental inadequacy. This led to a serious depression when children are robbed of their own childhood, then tend to ignore their own needs and feelings, which is really bad for their mental health. Unlike deficient parents described above, strict parents are often driven by a fear becoming unnecessary things to their children. This makes the student feel resentful, powerless, and inadequate. Controlling parents can make their children feel very depressed. For example, whenever their children want to hang out with their friend, the parents want to go along with the children, which can be uncomfortable to them. Moreover, they limit the time for their children to go out. So these deficient and strict parents tend to not care about their children's studies. Whenever students go to school or college, they will feel demotivated to focus on their studies. Other than that, they will feel that their parents do not care whether they get good or bad marks in examination. This is a sign of overthinking which leads to minor depression. Last but not least, having unsupportive parents can really affect a student's mental health. This is because whenever students have problem, they can share or tell anyone or their parents. Even if the student wanted to share a good news, it won't work if they are having a supportive parent. In other words, this proof that parent relationship is the main cause of depression among students. For students, parents are someone they value a lot. If you ask what their main reason for success is in study is, I guarantee most of the students will say that they want to succeed in studies for their parent. So when the parents are not giving their full support, this can lead to various negative impacts such as depression. Parents should be a role model and try to avoid being the main cause that affects students' mental health. Lack of motivation can lead to effect of depression. Depressed children lose interest in all the things they care the most. One of the first things to dwindle is schoolwork motivation, which is also not among the things that young people care about the most. Lack of commitment and motivation contribute to inefficiency, resulting in lower grades. Low motivation is detrimental personally as professionally. Relationship may deteriorate. Relationship may disturb because they don't have the energy to connect with others. That some low energy make it hard to do basic self-care, such as exercising, eating well, and getting enough sleep, which can lead to mental and physical health issues. Because of that, it will make them feel stressed. It can also wear you down when the body produces excessive amount of the cortisol hormone in response to stress. It can cause exhaustion. In turn, it can lower levels of dopamine and serotonin. Plus, when you are already feeling unmotivated, the stress from falling behind on tasks may intensify the lack of motivation. You simply lack that will to function. It's easy to fall into the trap of feeling worthless or hopeless when you see motivation. It will also affect the study performance. It's often difficult to fulfill student normal obligation. Then, falling behind on their obligation can make them feel even worse. So next, effect of depression in behavior changing. The student will show their distress in the form of external traits like aggression, hostility, non-compliance, and dysphoria. For some students, even going out, people may find themselves refusing invitation or avoid. Some students some students will avoid invitation and avoid to go out and avoid to socializing. Confusion and delirium refer to a disturbance of consciousness. That is, people are less aware of their environment and depending on the cause, may be excessively agitated and belligerent or drowsy or sluggish. Disorganized speech refers to speech that does not contain the expected logical connection between thoughts or between question and answer. For example, people may jump from one topic to another without ever finishing a thought. The topics may be slightly related or entirely answered, full of irrelevant detail, and so on. So answer may be illogical or completely incoherent. Now we know that effects that can happen in student life if they are having depression. In conclusion, having bad relationship with parents, lack of motivation, and behavior changing are the example of cause and effect of depression among students that I can give as my point. We need to help and overcome these causes and effect because this is so important for their mental health as well. Most students don't want to believe that something is wrong with them, so they stay in a state of denial and suffer alone. This feeling those students go through when they don't reach out are the first step that start to affect students emotionally. In my opinion, we need to overlook their surrounding, make sure the relationship between their parents is good and don't have any problem with each other. Overall, I believe the source is available to prevent the largest problem among students, which is depression. That's all for me. Thank you.